What is going on, everybody? It is your boy, your man, Stooks. Back at it with another video. And today we're doing yet another toxic tier list ranking. And if you hear the tone of my voice, I'm not too excited because I already filmed this video before. And I forgot to put my microphone on, so I'm redoing this. But before we get to the actual beginning of the video itself, guys, don't forget to subscribe if you're new to the channel, because number one, it's absolutely free, number two, also maybe help with the YouTube algorithm, recommend the video to more people, maybe they could join that chat. And do feel free to comment your list down below. But with that being said, guys, let's get right into it. But before we get right into it, here are the tiers. We have best of the best, which means they are like a perfect match, and they were one of the best matches of the night. Great means it comes close to best of the best, but I thought there was a minor flaw holding it back. Toxic goodness means it was a good match. It was a solid match. Okay means overall it was a mixed bag. I don't know how to feel about it. There were stuff I like, and then there was stuff I didn't like. And then toxic trash means dumpster fire, a crap match with nothing good going for it. Excuse me. Alright. So the first match that kicked off the show was Obafemi versus Tony D'Angelo for the NXT North American Championship in a tables, ladders, and scares match. And I will put this in the great tier. I thought it was a really good match. I won't put it best of the best just because I don't like Obafemi losing again. But to be fair, they did protect him. So there's that. Also, I was fully expecting this to be like a TLC match where you have to climb a ladder and then grab the championship, but it was a match where you had to pin Oba, which I just thought was, why? But anyways, everything in here was great. I think the chemistry between Oba and Tony D'Angelo is really good. They had a really good, solid trilogy, the last 2 months, last 2 or 1 month, they've had really good matches, so, this, being added to the, collection as well. Tony D'Angelo looked great as the champion. Obafemi looked really good. There was a couple cool spots in here. You had Tony D'Angelo spear Obafemi to the outside through a ladder, which that was a pretty cool spot. You also had Oba, I think, do a running uppercut to Tony D'Angelo through a table. That was pretty cool. Or a running strike of some sorts. I forgot what he did exactly. Because it was yesterday, so. What other things happened in this match? I enjoyed the story it told where Tony, how big his family is, that they insisted eat Tony and then helped him get the win. I liked that story. So, yeah, it goes it goes great. It comes close to best of the best. It's just I hate to see Oba get pinned again. But anyways, now we have the tag team match, probably the most anticipated match of the card, I think most of us would say. And that was the tag team match between Julia and Stephanie Vaquer versus Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade. And for me, I know this might be a hot take for some people, but I think this was best of the best. I thought this was a phenomenal tag team match and a phenomenal women's match. I think Stephanie Vaquer and Julia both looked really good in here, as well as Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade. They did really good in here. Of course, this is Cora Jade's first match back since her injury, I believe, so it was cool to see her back. Stephanie Vaquer looked really, really good in here. Of course, pinning Roxanne Perez, the NXT Women's Champion herself, doing a corkscrew moonsault, or something of that nature that was quite crazy to see from the top rope. So that's a pretty cool new finisher. I like that way more than her other backbreaker one that she had on NXT. Julia also looked really good in here too, putting up a good fight against Roxanne and Cora. So yeah, I'm gonna put best of the best. I thought this was a phenomenal women's tag team match. Next up, we got Andre Chase versus Ridge Holland. And I will put this in okay. This is probably my least favorite match of the night, but overall it was still, it kept your attention. It just ended really abruptly. And also, I was fully expecting Andre Chase to win in this one. I was expecting them to end this storyline, which I think they did. Question mark, question mark, question mark. What was I saying before? I just lost my train of thought. But yeah, the match just ended so quickly. I was going, wow, that's how you end an ambulance match. I expected them to have a full-on ambulance. I didn't expect them to have an old school ambulance, but if it's with the theme, Halloween and stuff, so it's that ambulance from those type of old movies or those old times. So yeah, it goes into okay, and I knew where this segment was gonna go when Ridge Holland just stopped staring into the camera after winning the match. I knew what was gonna happen later on the night, which I was right. Next up we have the co-main event, I believe. And that is Kalani Jordan defending her NXT Women's North American Championship in a gauntlet match against Fatal Influence, which I knew as soon as it was gonna be a gauntlet match. I knew that she was gonna end up losing her title in this one, and correct me, and I was right. She did lose the championship in a decent gauntlet match. I will admit, I think the final match was the best match with her and Fallon Henley because they had really good chemistry in the ring, and you got "This is awesome" chant from the crowd. The JC Jane match was decent, and then the Jasmine Ninks one was okay, and I knew for sure that Jasmine Ninks wasn't gonna be the one to win the championship from Kalani. I knew that wasn't gonna happen because it's a little too early in her career to win that championship. And I already knew that it was gonna be JC or Fallon Henley, but it was Fallon Henley that ended up winning the championship. So I will put this in toxic goodness. I will say, like, the Shining Wizard Fallon hit on Kalani, I don't think full-on connected, so it looked a little clunky, but it was still a good match, so I'll put a toxic goodness. And then we have Whoop That Trick versus Ethan Page in a Devil's Playground, a match for the NXT Championship. And this is best of the best as well. I don't love it as much as the tag team match, but this was still a phenomenal match too. And it ends the trilogy of one-on-one matches between Ethan Page and Trick Williams, as well, just like Tony D'Angelo versus Obafemi in their trilogy. He had a couple cool spots in here. You had Ethan Page do a Ego's Edge off the steel steps through the announcer's table to Trick Williams. That was cool. You also had Trick get slammed against the steel steps brutally. My goodness. Not as brutal as, like, Drew McIntyre at Hell in a Cell when he goes for the Claymore and then lands back first on the steel steps in that match with CM Punk. But it was still brutal. Trick Williams, like, bled a lot from the mouth yet again in another pay-per-view match this year, because if you recall, that happened the same exact match with Ilya Dragunov earlier this year at NXT Vengeance Day. So, and Ethan Page looked protected in here because he got low blowed and then get waxed with the steel steps and then got a trick shot right to the face. So, yeah, really, best of the best match. I thought this was another phenomenal match on the show, and this was an enjoyable show. I would recommend this one if you would like to check it out. And also, this is not the only tier list video this week, guys. There might be more than 2. That's all I'll say, because, spooky Spooky Mama week. So, but with that being said, guys, I hope you all enjoyed this episode of this toxic tier list ranking. But with that being said, guys, I'll see y'all next one, everybody. Peace out.